Okay. So confirm that you're able to see the screen again, and I pick the 4 files. So these are the files that you are supposed to load. Uh, so we start with the customer information, and so sometimes also Power BI also works like Excel. You can see that it's telling me that there are some recovered files, but I don't want to work with them again because that was an attack it gave us. So whenever you load data, of course, go first to transform. You don't go to load, and then you can check the steps that it has taken. So we come here and click on use first row as headers, and then we have it there. Yeah, so it has changed the type, it has promoted headers. So if you click here again, it will use this one, C01 John Doe and New York as the headers for your column, for your table, or maybe for your column, sorry. So once this is done, and of course, there's something else we talked about. If you want to change the name of your data set, you can change it here. So maybe from customer information to something else, you can change it at this point. And then once you are confident that everything is okay, you click on close and apply. That is the first query being loaded. I don't want these files. Power BI has started to misbehave again. Okay. Yeah, so it's loading the data sets. So what I was saying, Suleiman, go to this place. Like you can see here, there's something that looks like a connection. So right now we are in the, is it called the model view? And then there is the data view, right? Here is what we call the data view. So if you click here, you can see the data that you already have. So it successfully loaded 5 rows. Um, Yeah. So click on this last one. This is what I was telling you to click on so that you see if there are some files that have been loaded. Not really files, but relationship that has been created. You can see it from this point. Mhm.
So I have a question. So you can I be loading the data set one by one? Or there's a way I can load all the 4 at once?
Yeah, that's what I expected. I've previously done it that way. I don't know why. If you click what? If you use control or you use on shift, it is not working. But that is how it should be. Yeah, because now it is forcing us, or maybe forcing me also to just do one by one loading of the file, which is something that is taking time. So once you go back, yeah, you click on that one, and then we have the Power Query Editor. By the way, this is what we call Power Query Editor. For those who have previously done Excel, you can see this is a Power Query Editor. So where you do the cleaning, right? So if you have any information or maybe something to change in your data, you can come here and do the cleaning, and once you're done, you click on close and apply. So that is what we call the Power Query Editor. Yeah. So I think that one is loading. I can pick another one. I don't know whether that will terminate our query. But yeah, okay. Product information has been loaded here. So once this is ready, transform again. And then and also I'll show you something else, by the way, on how to load data from a folder. Sometimes you may want to load data from a folder, and I could have shown you that with even this folder that you're talking about. I'll show you that tomorrow. Okay, so the last file I have is sales dataset. So there is sales and transform. and we have it loaded. Okay, so I believe we are now okay. So you can see on this side now we have customer information. We have, so if you click on this drop down, you can see the data sets that we, not really the data set, but the columns of our data. You can click on product information. You can see there. You can click on region information. Okay. Region needs to be edited because like our columns should not be column 1 and 2. So if you want to go back and to query editor, you just click on these 3 dots here and then edit query, because there's something that we missed. Yeah. So I need to promote these headers. Sorry, go to this and then click on use first row as headers. Once that is done, we click on close and apply. So that is any sure way if you want to edit the query that you have. Yeah. So even this one is okay. It is looking okay. Okay. So anything next? So we go back from, this is the report view, this is the table view, like where you can see your data, depending on which one you have highlighted. So if you highlight product information, the information for that table appears. If you highlight sales, you can see it now here. Yeah. Order date. Now you can even see our order date needs to be changed in some way, but we'll talk about that when we talk about analysis. Yeah. Now look at this one. I think you can now be able to see some relationships have been created. Yeah. Are you able to see these relationships?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can resize it by removing, you can remove this property so that you, or just remove this because this property you might need to use it. Yeah. So we have here. So by default, Power BI always creates for you or determines the kind of relationship that is there. For those who did statistics, what are some, or even if you did not do statistics, have you ever heard of relationships when talking about mathematics or even statistics? For those who are doing basic maths, was it basic maths or calculus? There are some things you are talking about relationships. What are some of the types of relationships you are talking about? You can shoot it up. Winnie, any relationship you mentioned while doing mathematics? Winnie Ambogo.
Hey, I'll pass.
Sorry? Oh, you'll pass.
Karen, help me.
Yeah, Karen, you've been cherry-picked.
Yeah, ask Karen to assist.
We learned about one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-many. Yeah, types of relationships.
Yeah, you talked about one-to-one, and then you talked about one-to-many. Nani, who is this? Lewis, can you tell us an example of one-to-one relationship? And I don't think one-to-one exists in Nairobi. But just give us an example. Which one do you find in Nairobi?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can perfectly well.
Oh, just as you said, Nairobi has no one-to-one, but maybe an example of maybe is there one-to-one? Maybe let me say a one-to-many relation. Maybe for example in a school setup, one teacher can be assigned many students. So that's an example of one-to-many relation.
One teacher assigned to many students. Okay. Uh-huh. And one-to-one in a school setup.
Where maybe each student is given a unique registration number.
Yeah. So and even ID.
Yeah.
One person only has one national ID number. Yeah. And that is that can also be one-to-one. Then you can also have one-to-many that you have talked about, and then you can have many-to-many. Now, an example of many-to-many, Mr. Mr. Kevin Galacha. Can you give us maybe an example of many-to-many relationship? If if you aren't aware of an example, you can handpick somebody. Don't die. This is a Gumbaru school. Bill Makaka. Could you give us an example of many-to-many? Okay, so people are not going to speak. Yeah. Yeah. So think about examples of even many-to-many. But yeah, you can look at which kind of relationship do we have with. Okay, so somebody is putting up their hand. Who is this? James. Okay, James.
Okay, I wanted to give an example of many to many. Okay, like for instance, in another table, that is in maybe in a e-commerce platform, whereby in another table, you can have like many orders placed by multiple customers. So in this case, we have multiple orders and multiple customers. So there is that relationship between now the many-to-many relationship between orders and customers. I don't know if that is a good example in this case.
Yeah, somebody should talk about the example, if it makes sense. Great. Yes.
I wanted to say something lakini network yangu ndio inasumbua kidogo pia.
Yeah, say something.
Okay, I do not know if I remember well, but I remember at some point we were talking of the set theories. Let's say you have a set A and another set B. And then maybe you want to create a relation between the two sets. So let's say set A has items 1, 2, 3, and another one B has items A, B, C. So ideally, you can create a relation many to many. Let's say you take one in A, and then let's say B in B. That is creating a relation, many to many relation. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, now we are in the set theory. Yeah. So for those who did mathematics, you can review or maybe talk about. Yeah, we covered that in basic mathematics, talking about many kinds of relationship. But you can think of it in terms of, yeah, the set one can explain it even better, even picking James' example where you have like orders, and then all these orders are related to, maybe we have the order IDs and maybe the customer IDs that placed them. You think of it like in some sort of a circle, or in some sort of a set. I mean, yeah, that can be used to maybe explain something like many to many kind of relationship. But in most cases in Power BI, you find relationships being, in most cases, it's always one to one or one to many. Yeah, many to many is also there. I mean, but not really that frequent kind of relationship. But it's there, and again, it's something that always depends on the data set that you are working with. So if you look at this, it is one to many. This one is also one to many. The direction of before that direction, you can see that this one doesn't have any relationship because it doesn't have a column that is a little bit similar to other columns in other tables. So region ID, we don't have anything like region ID somewhere here again, region name, and we'll see how this is going to even influence maybe analysis. But if you look at it, this table, if you hover around here, you'll see that this table is connected to this other table through customer ID. And it doesn't have to be that this name has to be the same as this name. So when Power BI has already created for you this kind of relationship, you can come back and edit if maybe it made a mistake. So sometimes this one is not customer ID, but everything that is inside it is looking similar to the like this other one, customer ID. So sometimes it's called even cust, CUST ID, right? That is one thing. If you find maybe again something like product information, we have here product ID, and then we also have product ID here. If you hover around your cursor here, you can see that there's product ID and also there's product ID. Yeah, product ID. So why is it one to many? It is one to many in this sense. Let me open this Excel and then just show you. So we have here product ID in there's product ID in product information, and then so think of this as product information, and then we have product ID in, so this is product ID in sales, then this is product ID in product information. Just know that this is product information. This is product information. Yeah. So maybe I have product ID as 1, and I have product ID as 2, and I have product ID as 3. But when I come to product ID under sales, think of it that we have sold multiple products, si ndio? So we have sold, maybe utapata product ID maybe 1 imeuzwa mara hata 10 because different customers ordered for this one. A product ID number 2 pia imeuzwa hapo, right? Has been sold and even this 2, this 3, this 1, this let me just deal with, so 2 and again 1. So you can see I have only one product ID here, but then there are many product IDs of similar kind on this other side of sales. Look at product ID number 2. So when I'm registering product information, I don't have to write all the product IDs similar to how it was sold in the sales. So under product ID, you just write maybe one product ID for one product. So maybe this product was called Njahe. This other one was Kamagera. This other one was maybe something like something on virtual reality, right? And then somebody came and bought 1, 2, 3, alizibai mara moja. Those IDs will appear this side. So that is why it is one product ID to many product IDs on this side. And that's why we have 1 to many. So when you see this star here, it is telling you that it is 1 to many relationship. That is a similar explanation that you will give to customer information on customer information and sales data. Yeah. if you click here, so if you click this, where so this arrow is telling you like the direction where we are going to, one to many. So if you want to have it look this side, then it means it is going to be many to one, right? It is going to be many to one. The direction might change. But again, this is the ideal direction that it will follow, one to many this side. What else? So if you want to, sometimes you may want to just edit it by yourself. So you click on this direction here, and then now you can see the cardinality that we have. So this is table, sales data. You can see where the relationship has started. So sales data ndo imeanza, and then column is product ID. Then we go to product information and then product ID. So when we are starting with sales data going to product information, you can see now it is many to one, because sales data ndo imeanza hapa. Otherwise, if we could have started with the product information on this side, let's see. So we can't start with product. Product information has been removed because it's already creating a relationship. But what I hope you understand what I mean, that because hapa sales data ndo imeanza and then we are going to product information, it's like we are going back this side. So it is many to one. But if we were starting from this side going heavy, like if product information will be sitting here and sales sitting here, then it could have changed to many to one. So if you find out that maybe Power BI has done a definition that is not correct, then you can click this and play around and say maybe one to many, many to many, one to one, many to one. You can also choose which column to use, right, to create that relationship. So the column is product ID, and so sometimes if Power BI has picked the wrong column, which it rarely does, you come here and just choose and say the connection should be on customer ID versus product ID, and then you click here apply changes. If you click apply changes, of course it's a wrong kind of connection, but let us just see if it is working. Yeah, so if you hover around your cursor here, now you can see it is product ID highlighted and also customer ID has been highlighted, but that is wrong. So you just change it back to product. I was just showing you how you can play around with, not really play around, but just create even that connection by yourself. So the correct one should be product ID here, product ID here. Once you're done, apply changes. Always ensure that you make the relationship active. You will see it when doing analysis or maybe building your reports. If it is not active, there is going to be no interaction between even your visuals. That is something that you really gonna take note of. Cross filter direction, in most cases, just you have it as single. There was that very complex explanation of both. I might need to share it with you just to have a look at it. But in most cases, just have it as single. So when you put it as both, it means that maybe we'll look at it in terms of slicing, that this table can slice this other one, and this other one can also slice the same. I mean, product information can slice sales data can also slice product information at the same time. But it always affects interactions of visuals when you're building your report. So you just maintain it as single, so that when you are going in any direction, it's only one table or maybe one data is slicing or impacting the other. You'll see that during creating visuals. Yeah, so that is you building relationship with or maybe in Power BI. You can click even on open relationship editor. Yeah, so this is the best place for you to even build the same manually. So it works similar to just what we had looked at here is Zapper, but you can open just that relationship editor and choose maybe, now here you can choose let's choose product information to start there, and then come here and sales data and maintain it as that. And then look at cardinality, make this relationship active, and now you can see that we have it just maybe how we had done it before. Let me see here if we applied the changes. Okay, yeah. So that's it. Play around with this and sales data. Okay, yeah. So you can create that relationship using this. I think there's something that I missed to put here. I'm just confirming that you can change that direction. So here we start with the sales data. If it doesn't work, we'll just say one to many, then this should be meant to man. Cardinality isn't valid for this. Yeah, so it won't work if we change that direction of the direction that we previously had. Yeah, so that is creating relationships in Power BI. This is a simple one. Sometimes it gets complex when you have there's a certain data that I was working on that had about 10 pages, and so all of this place becomes jumbled up so that you're not even sure on seeing where is this direction going, and then in that case it even takes you a whole day to just create the relationships first. Yeah, you figuring out this needs to go here, this one needs to be created this way, this needs to, you are going back and editing your data a little bit. So it really takes a lot for you to figure out relationships that needs to be created, because you can find that you have 10 data sets, and all of them has what you call the primary keys. We have primary and foreign keys, sorry. So there's something that we talked about that is called primary key, and then there's something on foreign key. There is also foreign key, and also there is a key called composite. There's another type of key again, a fourth one, but the most actively used, you find them to be this. So so a primary key is a key that uniquely identifies a table, right? So if we come to maybe a table like this, let me go to our data and customer information. So this customer ID, it uniquely identifies this table of customer information. Yeah. You go to maybe product information, product ID uniquely identifies. So if you see a laptop, yeah, all the laptops that we'll have in this table, they will have the product ID of P001. All the glasses, all the tablets, all the glasses will have P004. So this product ID uniquely identifies this table. Yeah, and we have a look at maybe region. So for region, you'll maybe region ID. But now when you get to sales data, you also have product ID, you also have customer ID. But this product ID is not uniquely identifying this table. Customer ID is also not uniquely identifying the sales data, all the sales data. So this is a key that is borrowed from another table. So this one becomes a foreign key, similar to customer ID, right? Because this is a primary key. So a foreign key is a primary key of another table. Yeah. Are we together? Or have done some ranting? Are we together?
I didn't really catch the name of the primary key of another table, as you called it. You said foreign key, but I don't know how to.
Okay, foreign. I don't know if.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
sorry.
Maybe it's my pronunciation.
Yeah, it was, I didn't really catch that very well.
Yeah, so check on primary. So there's primary and then there's foreign or foreign. So yeah, I mean, you can miss out on the pronunciation, but yes. Karen, are we together?
Yes, we're together.
Any question from anyone? I mean, Winnie Tiamwe. Winnie. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. That's it on creating relationships. I don't know if somebody else feels like there's something that has been left out that you want to do, but I'll also even share information on the same. Huh. Okay, so let's go to something else. So before doing maybe your analysis or maybe trying to create dashboards in Power BI, the first thing that you have to do is do data cleaning. After cleaning your data, check on the relationships that have been created. So you can start with either. You can create relationships first or come and do data cleaning. But the first thing that really needs to be done, according to me, like what I would really say that you need to do is you first go and do cleaning of your data. So, but because somebody's mic is on, I just want Lloyd. I don't know whose mic is.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing that you do is go back and clean your data. So I might need to even look for an unclean data for you to figure out. But if you want to do any data cleaning and go to the Power Query editor, you can go through this. You can click maybe here and edit query, right? Come here and edit query. So you can see that Power Query editor is open. So you can click which data do I want to clean. You may want to clean customer information, or you want to clean product information, or clean region information, right? Or sales data. Yeah, so depending on what you want. So you may start by maybe customer information. This data is not clean. I really need to get you data that is, and also a little bit huge. But let me just briefly mention things that you may do. So suppose maybe your data, this part, maybe there's a column that you don't want. Let me give you an example. While collecting data, sometimes you collect irrelevant kind of data. So number one, things to look for, irrelevant data. Irrelevant data. Number two, what else can you look for while doing data cleaning? Kevin, what else can you look for when doing data cleaning? Yes, Kevin on this call. Kevin, you're on mute. Okay. Kevin seems to be on mute. Suleiman, tell me some of the things you look for when cleaning your data. Suleiman, unmute.
Hello. Oh, sorry. It's okay. So I'm a bit behind, but somebody can help me on this.
Why are you behind? Like, what is it that you? I'm just asking a general question that while looking for or maybe doing that analysis, what are some of the things that you are going to be looking for or maybe looking to clean? That is a general question. Just shout out anything. Okay. Winnie?
Be
Mhm.
incomplete data or something. I don't know.
No, you need to know. Incomplete data.
Incomplete data. Yeah.
Another one. Okay, Karen. Or Karen is not. Okay, Karen.
I'd say like data that doesn't match in the sense of, let's say for example you're writing the name of a country like Kenya, then for like 2 columns you write KE and then the others you write Kenya, so you don't want to change the other 2 to match
So
Kenya.
you look for typographical issues.
Yeah.
Lewis.
Check for outliers, maybe extreme huge or extreme less figures.
Extremely huge, extremely less. James, this is your field.
Oh yeah. Maybe you can check null cells.
Yeah, you can look
Or
for
rather empty cells. Yeah. Missing values.
you can look for missing values. Bill.
I was on outliers.
Yeah, there are different things you can check for data formats. Sometimes you can have numbers stored as string. Yeah, you can look for that. I mean the formats. I mean data formats. You can check for that.
Can we check on data types also?
Yeah, that actually that is what I was mentioning. So data format stroke types.
Types, yeah, like vectors.
Yeah, so that is something that you can look for. So there are some 6 examples. So maybe an irrelevant kind of data.
Boniface,
Yes.
I think you can also add duplicates.
Yeah, that is a very key one. Duplicates. Somebody to give me an example of irrelevant data. Kibet, now we are on you. No escape route this is an interactive kind of learning. Irrelevant data that you can think of?
In terms of what we have done in the previous ones, maybe?
No, any general kind of an example where your data might have irrelevant data.
Okay. Any type of data might have irrelevant data.
Okay, let me give you an example for that. Irrelevant data, sometimes when you are filling out Google Sheet, you realize that it can collect the time somebody filled out the form. So timestamp or can be part of the data. So you can find maybe there's timestamp, then unapata like you have the name column, what is the gender of the person, what is their educational qualification, qualification. So when going to be doing your analysis, like somebody filling it out at lunch, somebody filled it out usiku, somebody filled it out maybe in the morning, and it might also even collect the time span. Somebody took 12 minutes to fill out. Sometimes for your analysis it might be irrelevant, so you might just need to clear away with it, so delete it. So we are not doing this in Excel. We are supposed to be doing that in Power BI. I'm just giving you an example of an irrelevant kind of data. So in that case, the column timestamp might not be relevant. Sometimes maybe it even picks the coordinates, so exact location where the person was filling it. For you, it may be relevant. For Safaricom, it is going to be very relevant. Yeah. So when talking about fraud detections and the likes. So coordinates sometimes it might be relevant to you at that point, depending on the aim of your analysis, right? So you might just need to do away with them. So that is part of that is an example of a data that we can consider to be irrelevant. And then we talk about incomplete data. Yeah. So an example of a data that is incomplete, you are supposed maybe to have so incomplete and maybe something like missing values. So you are supposed to have how many people? So incomplete and missing values, I may just maybe need to explain it together. That somebody was supposed to fill 11 variables. Your questionnaire had 11 variables. Somebody decides to just fill 8 questions peke yake. The rest 3 amekuachia. So there is missing value or the data is also incomplete. Or you wanted 20 responses and then apparently like you are only able to get 15 responses. The other 5 gaps here and there. So, together with missing values. Outliers, the same. You look for extremely huge or extremely low. Yeah, I always like giving this example that you go to interview people on their income statements, income per month, and then you find that most of the people in that village are earning 10,000. So wengine is that fair? So 10,000, wengine ni 15. So somebody wants to speak. James, 15,000. Then we have maybe 10K, 10,000. Then we have maybe somebody 20,000. I'm just writing some random here. And then you find most people are playing between 10,000 to 20,000. And then you find Jama Flani in that village because of doing wash here and there is earning 1 million every month. Yeah, every month like is provide kama ameweza kureveal mwingine ako 800,000. Yeah, and then you find somebody is also at around 1.2 million. Yeah, so is that 1.2? Yeah, 1.2 million. So if you try to get the average, let me copy this and paste it here and paste it here and also here. You find that most of the people are earning 10,000s, right? But if you now try to get the average of this, you'll find that your responses, you find that the average is 210,667. So in your conclusion, you'll say most people in the village earn about 210,000. So is it correct? But if you look at the majority wako kwa 10,000 na wako kwa 10,000s and the 20,000. So it is not correct because of these outliers. These outliers tend to skew data to their side, and that distorts your decision making or your conclusion. So that is one problem of outliers. So you have to go and check for outliers. How you do outliers is just to do a sort. So I'm telling you this sort because that is the same thing you can do. You just go and do a sort. Sort maybe largest to smallest. Now you can see the top 3 that are very large. That is the same thing you come here to Excel, to Power BI, and you can sort. So the same sort that I used there, you can just do a sort descending or sort ascending. You just come here. Those are part of you checking your data. You come here and do a sort. Yeah. Another thing, I talked about maybe irrelevant data, and you want to delete an irrelevant data. In Power BI, if you want to delete an irrelevant data, you just highlight that column. So if I highlight this column and then right click, you can see here. So when you right click, you can see so many things that you can use for data cleaning. Remove duplicates is here. You can duplicate a column. So suppose I duplicate this column, I can duplicate it so that I have it as 2. But now I don't need it, so I just highlight it again and right click and remove. If I click remove, that column is gone. If I want to bring it back, I just click on this. So I have this column again. So there is this one, if you click remove, but if you click remove other columns, the other columns are deleted, and then the one that you highlighted remains. So just go back again. So suppose I want to delete this column and column ya city. So I just highlight this first one and then click on control and then highlight this other one and then right click and remove columns. Control Z, not Control Z, come back here. So I clicked remove other columns or remove columns. So if I want this one to be removed, I control it and then I control this other one and then remove columns or remove other columns. Why remove other columns is key or can be used is, suppose you have 20 columns, but you want to remain with just some 3 columns. So you just highlight those 3 and then say remove other columns instead of going highlight up to endlessly, I mean. So that's it. So if you want to change data type, you can change it also here. So if this one is a string, which is of course good. But if you want to change the data type, you just come here and change the data type that you want. You can see now it is in text. That is a text kind of data. So if it were in a percentage, you click here percentage, which is of course an error. So you can go a step backward. So that is part of data cleaning. You can also maybe do what again? Duplicate, remove duplicates. Let's see if we can remove. There's no duplicate here, so we cannot really remove a duplicate. I'll try to look for a data that is dirty and then just share with you, and then you present it tomorrow. You tell us how the steps you used to do your data cleaning and everything. Yeah, so we talked about duplicating a column, replace values. Yeah, there's also this one for replacing values. It works again similar to Excel. So if you see here, we might need to maybe replace this 10,000s. If I come here and highlight and then go to replace, so there's this find and then there's this replace. Yeah. So here I can say, what do I want to find? I want to find 10,000. I want to find 10,000. Yeah. Replace with maybe 15, or replace it with 150,000, depending on the value you want to replace it with. So you can replace all. We couldn't find anything to replace. Okay. Let me remove this one. So replace all. Yeah. So it is because of the comma that I placed. So you can see that 10,000s zimekuwa replaced. Similar thing you just do in Excel, in Power BI. So maybe I replace C001. So let's go to replace values. So find what? So what do you want to find, right? So I want to find C001, and then I replace it with E102. Let's see if it is working. Yeah, you can see C001 has been replaced by E102. You can see here E102. That's it. And also, there's sometimes when you can, even before that, you can see all these things that we've done here. For example, use first row as headers. You can also find it here. Replace values, you can also find it here. Split a column. Let's say we want to split this column your customer name. You highlight it. You can come here and click on split column. You can also click on this other side, split column. It is also here. Everything that you looked at. So you can just right click and come here, split a column. So do you want to split a column by number of characters, or you want to split it by delimiter? So let's say you want to split it by delimiter. So you will see here. So select or enter delimiter. So which delimiter do you want to use? So we want to use the space because our customer name has some sort of a space between the name. So select or enter delimiter. Now it becomes space. So split at leftmost delimiter. That is if we had multiple spaces. For example, we had John Doe Maina, right? John Doe Maina. So you expect that there's a space between John Doe and then Doe and Maina. So that is when you can say split it at the leftmost delimiter. So if you have multiple occurrences of the delimiter, similar to rightmost. Here, if we say split it at each occurrence of the delimiter, if we had 3 names here, then we are going to have 3 columns. Okay. Yeah, so quote character. Let me see what quote character is. Okay, let me click on OK. And then you can see, yeah, you can see here, customer name, we have John. Customer name 2, we have John. And then you can come back and now rename the customer and then write here as first name, and then write this one as second name. You just double click on that name. Sorry, second name. So you can see here we have first name John, second name Doe. Yeah. That is splitting. Anybody with a question? You can also come back and merge them, merge the columns. Yeah. So what is the separator? We want the separator to be a space. So if you want the separator to be an equal sign, you can also just place it there. Let's try it and then new name column, customer name, and then click on OK. You can see the delimiter that we used, so John equaling to Doe. So if you could have used a space, it could have just been John Doe. So I can go back and redo that step again so that it becomes better. I just wanted to show you that you can use different delimiters. So merge columns, you come here and say, so if you say none, then John Doe won't have a space between it, right? Let me just leave it as merged and then you see. You can see John Doe, how John Doe is now looking like. Right click and then merge columns and then create a space there and say customer name. Customer name is there. Okay. So that is part of you maybe hovering around and doing some data cleaning on your work. We've looked at replacing the values. Yeah. So if you want to rename, of course, you use this. I'll show you also how to pivot and unpivot. But that is also something that you can check in Excel. You can also even group or so you can perform a group. So specify the column to group by and the desired output. So maybe new column name is cancel. So let me see what is happening. Yeah, it should have made more sense if we had a number kind of. So new column name can be maybe group. Just trying to see. So operation count of rows. Yeah, it makes more sense if we have a numerical kind of data. But yeah, so you can follow through even with that and see. Yeah, you can see what it has done. It has done maybe a sum, but you can't really do that on this text kind of data. Sorry. Yeah. So once all that is done, once you're done with your data cleaning and you feel everything is right, you will see that this green thing is full. So if you hover your cursor here on the green thing, you can see that there's 5, which is 100% valid. There's 0, there's no error. There's no data that is empty. Let me say we delete this. I wanted us to delete one here. Okay, it's not coming through. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So suppose maybe even this was empty. So if it were empty, then this green line wouldn't be full. Yeah, it won't be showing you. So when you see that maybe your data or maybe the green line is full, then you know that your data is clean. I mean, in quotes, it is clean, because sometimes like there are duplicates here that it won't be able to identify until you alone you go through and just try to see if you're able to figure out a duplicate. So that is something that you're supposed to do by yourself. So once that is done, you come here and close and apply, and then you say that you're fully done your data cleaning and everything now is set. So once that is done, you now talk about data analytics. So now building your report. So so when building the report now, so it depends on what you want to start with, or maybe what you want to see. Which we'll just maybe do a brief here, and then I'll send another data that you can use for tomorrow. As we talk about something else like creating a measure. Yeah, and in most cases when you want to do analysis, or I leave that for tomorrow, measure table. There's a table that you can create that is called a measure table. So when you want to create that, you just right click on one of the tables and then click on new measure. I want to leave it for a data set that we'll use tomorrow. This one doesn't have much information because I want us to do DAX language, that is DAX expressions. We do it tomorrow, and it will make more sense if we do it this way. If we create that measures table tomorrow, but the process should just be maybe you right click on new measure, and then when you get here, you give it a certain measure. So maybe you wanted to get aggregate. So is this data having anything that can make sense? Let me first go to this sales data and just see. It doesn't have anything that is going to be of use for us to create a measures table. Price, okay. Yeah, so I'm seeing average. We can do an average. So price, product ID, quantity. Okay. So even before creating that measures table, with sales data here, we can see that there is quantity and then there is price. So we can find total sales, right? I'm seeing there's quantity and then there's price. We can do what we call, we get total sales. So total sales, we'll do it by, let's add, instead of a new measure, let's add a new column. I'll tell you the difference between a measure and a column. So this column, let us call it, sorry. So new column. So once you click that, you can see it is giving you an option to write. So here we call it total sales. Total sales. So total sales, it is going to be equaling to, what is it going to be equaling to? Our total sales. So once you start typing sales data, or maybe you just start typing S, you can see that there's a table that is coming here. So sales data with all its information. So we want to get, we want to multiply total sales. We want to multiply sales quantity by, the price, so that we get 10 times 100 to be equaling to 1000, right? So there is where DAX, or maybe the Dutch language, starts. So we can use calculate, or we can just go the way of sales data, and then you click on this times sales data price. Let's see what you're getting there. Yeah, so that is it. So there is sales data times. So this is a sign for multiplication. Sales data times sales data price. So it is giving us this total sales new column. Actually, what I've written here is what I was telling you as DAX language, DAX or Dutch, something like that. So that is creating a new column, but there is creating a new measure. Yeah, a new column adds it on the table. New measure doesn't add. It's not like a column on a new column on your table. The difference between new measure and new column. That is that. Anybody who has a question?
I have two questions. So number one, earlier, when you were talking about selecting different columns, like if you have more than 20, you select like individual ones and then you cancel out the rest. Yeah, how do you do that? Because I was trying it myself. I wasn't really understanding.
So let's go back to editing the query. So query here. So what I mentioned is you can select this. So now, like I've selected custom ID, right? You can right click and then remove that column. So custom ID column has been deleted.
Yes.
Hiyo tuko sawa, eh?
Yeah.
Then let me just get it back. Otherwise, if I don't want to remove this, I may just want to remove the others instead of this one. So I can right click and say remove other columns. So custom ID imebaki, right? Let me get it back again. So sometimes maybe getting it back, I hope you're not getting confused.
I'm okay. Yes, that one I got it.
So suppose maybe I want custom ID na city ibaki. So I will highlight custom ID and then I will highlight city. Right click and say remove other columns. So I have custom ID and city is remaining. Is that okay?
For some reason, I cannot highlight.
No, okay. Dini, what you do is,
Uh-huh.
so once you have clicked the first one,
Mm-hmm.
click on control.
Oh, okay.
Click on control and you click the mouse to select the other one.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Mm.
That's nice.
So
Thank
once
you.
you do that, you can now maybe change it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that was the first question.
Okay.
Okay, the second question was, you see in the DAX language that you've used there for total sales,
Mm.
for you to get the total sales, you did quantity times price.
Mm.
I know you said that you're going to do this in a later lesson, maybe, but what was that multiplication sign?
That is Nini. The asterisk. Asterisk, you click.
That's an asterisk.
Yeah, that's asterisk.
Okay, that's an asterisk. Okay, I see. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Boniface,
I have a question. When you okay.
Lewis, you are on mute.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly well.
So I was asking, when you are doing data cleaning and you want to remove duplicates, so in the case of maybe, let us use customer information table.
Mhm.
So we have the unique identifier, customer ID. So all customer IDs definitely are unique, but the rest of the data, maybe first name, second name, and the city, you find that they are duplicate. Maybe say customer ID 1,
Mm.
the rest of his data is the same to customer ID 2. Now, when you're doing data cleaning, does that count as duplicate, or it will count as a distinct entity?
Customer ID 1 and customer ID 2, like what is the same? So for example, we have John and we have Jane.
So we have customer ID 1 and customer ID 2, but for both first name, second name, and the city, they have the same values. Customer ID 1 first name is John and also applies to customer ID 2, and so on and so on. Now I was asking, when we are doing data cleaning, will that record as duplicate, or it will also just see it as distinct values because they have different identifiers?
So if customer ID is unique, because like in everything, in every data, you know what is making your data unique. So if yeah, think of it in terms of names. Like somebody, you don't have a monotony over your name. You are called Lewis Gatimu. You'll find somebody else called Lewis Gatimu, probably in the same place, because you come from. Where do you come from? Like you're from the US. So, yako inakwanga ni wapi? California, in US. So utapata in hiyo hood yako ya California, there's also another Lewis there. You might need to go and check ukirudi in California in August. So you just check in your hood, you'll find that maybe there's another Lewis Gatimu. You people are coming from the same area, but your ID will never be the same, or maybe your social security number, yeah, is not going to be the same. So that is going to be the unique identifier. So if the unique identifier is different, then there is no cause for alarm, right? Yeah. So your focus should be on this customer ID. Sometimes maybe the unique identifier doesn't occupy the first space. It is occupying maybe iko hapa katikati. So maybe the second name is the unique identifier. I mean, I'm just giving you an example that sometimes customer ID doesn't have to sit here. It can sometimes sit maybe in the second row, and it becomes the unique identifier. Any question again? Winnie.
So I had one. I was asking in the data cleanup when you get those extreme like the salary.
Yeah.
Do you like delete them like completely off the data set?
I want somebody to answer that. Suleiman, Suleiman, are you able to answer that question? That if you have the outliers, do you just go ahead and delete them?
Not really, not really. Someone can help.
Okay. Karen, what will be your response?
My response would be no, you don't delete them necessarily, but you can sort them in either ascending or descending order.
Okay. Somebody else. James, what will be your response? Do you have James? Okay. James is here.
So the question,
That if you
what
find
is,
outliers, do you delete them or what do you do? What do you do with the outliers? Anyway, um, for me, I'd say it this way. So, you first identify why that value is an outlier. Sometimes there are outliers because of typographical issues. You are supposed to type 10,000, where for some reasons you've typed 20,000. You've typed 1,000,000. So we are supposed to type 10,000 hapa, and then instead of writing that 10,000 umekuja ukaandika 100,000. So sometimes the outliers, they are there because of typographical issues, or you are entering the ages of people, and then instead of writing maybe somebody is 80, and then you write 800, right? So when you saw this age, of course, unless we are in the ancient times, but for the longest time nobody has gone to 800. Yeah, so you go back and interrogate why is this thing an issue. So maybe hapa nilikuwa nimeandika a wrong value. You don't just go ahead and delete them without interrogating why is it that this value iliandikwa hivi. But if it is genuinely that is the value of somebody, you may delete them because outlier is going to affect your outcome. And why is it so? It is because they tend to skew data, or maybe they tend to skew results to their sides. Let me say effect of outliers. Just want to show you outliers. So effects of outliers. So an outlier is an unusually large or small, so can have disproportionate effect on statistical results. So mostly the mean, which can result in misleading interpretations. So if you decide to stick around with them, just know that you're going to be giving out misleading interpretations. Yeah. So we do call it skewness. So outliers tend to skew data to their side. So if you look at images of skewness, you can see we have this one. This is a skewed. So this is positive skewness, and then we have the negative skewness, and then this one is more of like a normal one. So this one is no. This is a normal distribution of data. Or so yeah, the mean, the mode, and the median are lying on the same line. So we have those kind of positive skew, and then we have like a negative skew. So that your data is going to be skewed, or maybe your measures of central tendency are going to be a little bit skewed. So I'd say you first interrogate why an outlier is there before you decide on what to do. Are we together, Winnie?
Yes, that was very clear.
Okay, yeah, Karen.
When you talked about sorting the data, like now arranging in either ascending or descending order, what was the essence of that?
Oh, okay. So when I said you arrange in ascending or descending order, it was just for you to identify the outlier, right? I mean, those are first things that you need to do when you have a numerical data. So this is like data yenye ni kidogo, but think of it that you have data yenye iko maybe up to 150 and you can't really see at one instance the outliers. So what you do in that case is sort the whole column. So once you sort the whole column, you may be able to see that hapa tuko na watu who are earning just 10,000, 10,000, and then surprisingly then we have some 3 people whose values are really high. So if you have age, if you have weight, if you have height, if you have number of years spent in school, you need to sort all that kind of data so that you see the outliers. I mean, sometimes there might not be outlier, but then you just do it for the sake of you being sure. Is it clear, Karen? Okay. Yes, James.
Okay, maybe the last question. When it comes now to be a data cleaning on the issue of outliers, okay, is there or is there any other way to deal or to check outliers rather than maybe even maybe like sorting them in ascending order or descending order? Because I understand that in other areas we have a way we check the outliers, like using the box plots and such. So is there any other way to check outliers?
Yeah, so I wanted to mention that in Power BI, like they didn't include box plot. Yeah, if you try to look at the visuals that are there, you'll not find box plot. But box plot is a sure way of doing the same in something like SPSS, something like R, and even the Pythons. But in Power BI, like the sorting will really work quick in this case. So that is like what you may need to do. Because again, even if you go to, let me just do you this and edit query. So even if you click on this, you'll not even be able to see maybe something like an outlier for you on how you can even maybe quickly identify an outlier here. So the only thing you will be able to do is just to click on this arrow and just sort them. And part of also click.
Yeah, so sort. I can see you have just sort.
Yeah, you only have this. You can sort descending or you can, but sort ascending works better. Like it's more quick. Yeah, they are even removing empties that we didn't look at here, and that is also something else. But identifying outliers in Power BI, you just do a sort.
Oh, okay. The last one. Okay. Now that we don't have maybe box plot in this Power BI. Okay, can you clean data elsewhere? Then you just load the clean data.
Yeah.
To work with in the BI. Can you advise maybe?
Yeah, you can, and even for me, even the data that I use for my BI, I always clean it first in Excel. Then after doing all the cleaning in Excel, I just load it to Power BI. I mean, this part can be really small for you to do the cleaning, that query editor, and sometimes the values zinaweza kuwa ndogo ndogo. I always prefer, for me, I always do cleaning in Excel. But again, when doing this cleaning in Excel and doing it in Power BI, the steps are more or less similar. And even the outlook of the things that you can do, remove duplicates and the likes, those are things that you can also do similarly here in Excel. And even including those sortings, find and replace. Removing duplicates, you can also do the same through the text and columns. You can remove duplicates here. So grouping that we are also talking about, it's also here. So those are the things you can do them. Those things that are in Power BI, you can do them here. So once you do it,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, because again, you're looking at even the data that I brought in, like it wasn't dirty. So once you just do that, you pull it in and you start performing your analysis. Any question before we drop out or we drop off? Winnie, are you okay?
I'm very okay, thank you.
Okay. I believe we all are. And so let's talk about now. We can start performing analysis tomorrow, and then mambo itakuwa ni shwari. If not, we'll talk
You'll
about
share the recording.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so have a good night.